Welcome back to CMMC Unacknowledged, where we answer the unanswered questions that were asked during the monthly CMMC-AB Townhall meetings. My name is Todd Stanton. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for all things CMMC at Etactics, and as always, I'm joined by Ty Wittenberg. Ty is the Senior Information Assurance Manager at Ray & Associates. Good morning, Ty.
Hey, good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, and pleasure to see you again. So we're going to continue talking about CUI. Is it possible for a contractor to create CUI?
Great question. I believe in previous podcasts we've blushed on this. And so depending on the skill sets of the contractor, and we'll use a manufacturing example that's doing some mill work or something like that and welding work that clearly has specifications which are acceptable, and they probably utilize some quality controls to test what they're doing before they ship it off and give confirmation to their prime or to the DoD. If you had to make any modifications on your end with your engineers and design team that you submitted up to your prime because they were designs that you created or recommended to them that wasn't pushed down from them, then to answer your question, yes, you have created control and classified information.
And so I guess the next question is, where does the line get drawn? So obviously we're talking about something like engineering drawings, specifications, blueprints, those types of things I think are pretty cut and dry, right? But what about things like administrative documents or, contracting documents, general correspondence? Those are the types of things that would be created in the process of, performance of that contract. But does that really qualify as something that the contractor would consider CUI?
If it's germane to, and I'm not an attorney again, and I just use an attorney word, germane. If it's specific to sourcing equipment in those communications that's tied to that contract, then yes, that's because that wasn't language that was in there before, then yes, that becomes controlled and classified information that needs to be safeguarded in those particular correspondence. The other thing I would think of as an example, Todd, would be where I have won a contract, but I have subcontractors that do work for me that fit into the entire scope of what my piece of the puzzle is that I do in the contract. And in order to maintain my competitive advantage, I strip out all of the information other than the particular drawing or spec for what they need to provide for me. That is creating controlled unclassified information, even though it's stripped out from the prime.
Right.
It is your responsibility then as the potential client from that contractor to market accordingly so that they know that they have to
protect.
Gosh, what am I looking for here? Yeah, they have to adhere to the federal acquisition regulation on safeguarding and incident responding.
Perfect. Understood. So you're creating a derivative work of something that was already marked as CUI. So there was an instruction that I found, 5200.01, that talked about, where that line was drawn. And I thought it was very helpful. It said, distribution statements are not intended for use on program documentation, such as administrative documents, contracting documents, and general correspondence, unless these documents also contain technical information. And so I think, for some people that are sending out an invoice and the invoice has a part number, okay, is that something that I need to be worried about because it's got, part number associated with this control and classified information, so where is the line drawn? I think that was helpful, that, those types of administrative documents don't necessarily have to be treated the same as like a blueprint or, catalog item or something like that.
I clearly get that, right. I don't know if the person who wrote that per se is like a cybersecurity or information security person though as well too, right? So you and I know from other meetings that we've been in and conversations that threat actors, they don't necessarily go after the big fish as much as they try to figure out how to penetrate the downstream. And so, penetration testers hackers, for lack of nation states, they are very good at intelligence gathering. And so if I can get a piece of information and know that you have a relationship with Todd Stanton, and Todd Stanton has a relationship with Ty Wittenberg, and Ty Wittenberg is ordering a part that has a part number that in that communication aligns with or CCs or BCCs Todd Stanton. I'm no penetration testing expert, right? But and I wouldn't say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I would clearly instruct any of my clients to err on the side of caution versus and treat that communication as such, because it's the little small steps that lead to the big the win. And I can't think of the saying that's out there for it. I wish I could, but if I can put together all those little pieces of the puzzle, I can put together a picture over time that gives me that information. So I would always err them on the side of caution. If you're, for the sake of transparency in the project, you're having these communications and it's a part and it's tied to that CUI, that you start treating that communication as CUI.
Understood. And so, you reminded me of a story I was reading last night, and I think on a previous episode we talked about the OPM hack, and there was an interesting, analysis that I was watching last night. Somebody had looked at that same year. Do you remember that there was a hack of the Ashley Madison website?
Yeah.
And so the theory, conspiracy or not, was that it was one and the same threat actor. And that by hacking both, now we have a list of anyone who would apply for government clearance and a list of people who were maybe doing things that would be elicit the ability to have them blackmailed, right? So
Correct.
Now I've got a list of people who are on this Ashley Madison website, and I have a list of the government employees that have security clearances. Let me cross-reference those, and now I can start to target those individuals that may be easier to blackmail from an adversarial standpoint. I hadn't really ever put those two together, right? But that was the thing now.
So it's funny that you say that as well too, right? Which is, if you remember that well, I think a lot of those folks that got in that Ashley Madison scandal and release of information, they were using their business and government emails.
Wow.
So, yeah, there you go.
Well, we'll leave it there. Take your advice, and when in doubt, protect it as if it's CUI. I think that's always a safe strategy. So, thank you, Ty.
Hey, thanks, Todd. Appreciate being here.